But always have that backup money because
Facts.
in finance, we say cash is king and tea no lie. Because if you don't got money, crap or smoke your pipe.
Yeah. What you and these saying? We gonna crop them all and then make a compilation.
I
smoke
little
your
old
pipe.
one. So
Yeah,
crap or
man.
smoke your pipe.
We love it.
Seriously. So
Crapper?
crapper. Smoke your
this?
pipe. I don't know
Who's
who crapper
crapper?
is.
Okay.
Somebody
Man
on
down the road.
Maybe somebody on who me know.
So what's going on, guys?
So what?
It's me, HadieLeonie.
And it's your girl JojoRenée, and you are tuned into Bite the Bullet podcast episode 42. 42. And we have a special guest today. We have a lovely lady. Please introduce yourself.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Happy to be here. My name is Angelique from Financialish.
Nice. So we've been wanting to have you.
Yeah, bye.
So we're excited for this episode.
Likewise.
And I feel like a lot of people could benefit from this because financially, I think we all in the gutter. At least, okay, let me speak for myself.
Especially in 2024.
It's a rough year.
But how are you doing before we get into it?
I'm bracing, pun intended.
But you're adjusting now, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a shift, but so are my teeth.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
Bars.
I'm bracing. And you?
How you
Me, I
doing?
would say I can't complain. Just
No?
adjusting to new measures in life. Just move. So really trying to get this house organized. But apart from that, really just, doing the do.
Okay.
Doing the
Good.
do.
Doing the do.
That's gonna be my motto for September. I'm doing the do.
I'm
And you?
okay. I guess I adjusting.
Everybody's adjusting. We're gonna call this episode adjusting.
Adjusting.
Wait.
Literally.
Adjust that mouse to the subscribe button and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe
Period.
and hit the bell notification so you
Or
get
your
notified
finger.
when we upload it.
Click. Yeah, adjusting back to being at work,
Oh yeah, school stuff.
Yeah. But we counting down. I mean, it been stopped, but we counting down the vacation weeks.
October.
Yeah.
I think as a teacher too, that's really like you get to look forward to stuff.
Vacation.
Yeah. As in like you have, cause y'all have you have the summer vacation, which is big, the winter vacation, which is sizable. Okay.
Yeah, and then the May vacation, which is also sizable.
Yeah, y'all got a lot more vacations than us.
Wow.
Yeah, but you need it.
Yeah.
So.
Cause them kids be kidding. Yeah.
Kidding. Literally. But yeah, we good.
We're gonna start off with a little would you rather.
Okay.
I thought let's include some financial aspect into the would you rather.
Okay.
It's quite simple, but I really want to know what y'all would rather. So, would you rather have more money or have more time?
Whew. That tricky one.
Why my mind is always go like, but what if
You always need a middle ground. No, money, time.
I mean, I want to know in what do you mean with time, like years or in the day?
It's subjective. In terms of if you choose time, it's however you see yourself
Having more time.
So if I would see myself having more time, maybe it would be I have more hours in my day. So maybe my day is 28 hours or 30 hours instead of 24.
Okay, I still think I'd choose more money though, because I feel like more money would give me more time.
I was about to say that.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I
because
heard you say that 'cause
yeah.
I was going to choose money too. In my head, I was like, time will give you more time to do the stuff that you're starting on, but more money will give me people
extra
to do the
more
stuff
time.
that I started
Exactly
on.
that. Exactly. That's one aspect to look up at it, as well as from my context, I would say more money because then I could pay my bills and I could take that time to do other things that can create money, So
The math is math.
the mathematics.
But I also feel like a lot of the conversations people have when it comes to finances, we're going to get into this now, is that you want to have money to have time to do things. Like a lot of people think money is to get like material things, but it's actually to have time to spend
Exactly.
Honestly,
with your loved ones and
freedom.
and freedom. And them. So that's how I'm looking at it. What I going to do with the time if I ain't got no money?
Exactly that.
Since we having a conversation about money, because I find a lot of people just have, we just shy away from some conversations, but I am curious because I also don't know mine, so maybe I could think out loud. But what is a figure that you would get, say, yearly, that would make you feel like you have more freedom or more time?
I guess I'll have to sit down and, well, I should know this. But for me, in my head, it would be first everything covered.
Yeah.
So like you have to my bills covered, rent, da 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 da.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Savings, da da da, and then the extra money to just do what I want to do. Cause I don't. Okay, maybe shopping, but like
I mean, it's food.
that too. So I have
Yeah.
to have a budget for food and thing. And then like I think this question made me think what I want out of life though. I think I just want to be traveling and be able to go home and eat.
Very simple.
And if I could do that, I don't need $1 million a year.
Nah, I hear you.
You know what I mean? Even though that would be nice.
Yeah.
But like
But what you would do with it? That's the question.
exactly. I mean invest.
I'll buy an island.
But yeah, Jody even wants to
I hope you
island.
invite me to your island.
Best believe me coming.
Yeah.
You're
So
gonna teach everybody there about finance.
I mean, it would have to be like my regular wagon now, and then times 3, 4.
But okay,
That's
so
feasible.
where you get that from?
Wow.
Because now I feel like you just, you're kind of guessing like,
When-
maybe this is what would, make me happier. This is maybe what I need. But you actually ever sit down and calculate that number? Like what you need to actually live and enjoy?
Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't have the exact number right now in my head. I would have to open my notes. And
But
shit.
you feel like that has changed? Because
does.
sometimes
It
what we
does.
need is not really what we need. Like we checking like, I need this or I need this. But you realize, okay, maybe to actually live just a good life, I might not need all these things that I may think I need
like
or
and-
want.
Yeah. But that comes with self-awareness, I think as we progress in life, that's when your mindset is kind of shift from, because I would say like when I was studying, for instance, my goal then was really just like traveling, eating, partying, buying a bunch of shoes and stuff like that. So I always would think that, okay, I need money to do these specific things. But after I finished school and I really started to work, I started to realize that, okay, those things are no longer a priority. How do I now shift towards the things that I actually really need?
Yeah.
And also what brings me joy.
Yeah. But I mean, going back to like, who are you and how you get back and how you get into finances, I think that people would want to know. Tell us the journey and how you land where you landed.
So very interesting enough. I have my bachelor's in international financial management and control. And after I was finishing my studies, then I was like, okay, my mother told me, she was like, well, you're on your own. So I like, what I mean? She like, yeah, like you gotta figure it out now. Only if you're in an emergency, and that depending on what she think an emergency is how I will get help, right? So my first job, I was a finance accountant at that time, and I get my first salary, and then I started to look at my bills. So during my student years, I was wilding out, I had a credit card here. I had, there was at that time like payday loans from like Wacom, so you could get like furniture for your house and you pay like 20, 30 euros a month. So I was wilding, taking out TV, taking out the calls, these different type of things. Student overdraft, so the limits. And when I calculate that whole number, it was like 17,000 euros. Yeah, in combination with the 58,000 that I owe for my studies, so I did 2 studies.
Yeah.
So I sit down and I was like, okay, I studied finance, but I studied corporate finance. What about the personal aspect of finances? So that's when my journey started. And so I devised a plan. I look at all of my loans, look at the ones with the highest interest, look at how much I was paying per month, because I was like paying little small amounts. And I was like, but every month I have to sit down and pay like 4 or 5 different things. I was like, this is too much. So I get a loan, I put everything under one loan, and then I started to pay that. And then as the journey went along, it come, with people in my circle keep asking me for advice. Hey, you could help me with my taxes, you could help me with making financial decisions. And so I was like, well, I mean, I was doing it anyway, so let me make a business out of it. So
Okay.
that's where I get like a business coach, and she helped me to come up with the whole what is now Financialish. So that's where my journey started.
You feel like you have a real passion for it, or it's just a skill you
No,
have?
it is a passion, because it really does. Like, for instance, when I go back home, when I go see Martin, let me say that, and I look around and I see everybody with like cars, but they ain't got no house. We by the bar sitting down drinking, enjoying ourselves, gambling in the casino. And I was like, okay, there's a different way for us to do things, for us to feel empowered. And I was like, we're not financially literate enough when we're making decisions, because instead of taking out a car, we complaining we can't buy a house, and why we can't buy a house is because, we making the financial decisions that keeping us back. So
exactly.
those are, so when I see things like that, I was like, I think I could make a good impact as well. I just keep it real and be like, look, this is what it is. This is how you could get out of your situation. So for me, if I'm talking to anybody, we always end up talking about finances at one point because I feel like we don't talk about it enough.
We don't. I feel like you're being very vulnerable to name numbers that you had because I think a lot of people is even shy away from that. Like how much you owe due, how much you in debt, and da. Because people, it's like we have what do you call that? Like we're ashamed. Yeah, we're ashamed of like that. Even though they just say, even the richest people sometimes have debt.
Everybody in debt.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
The
like
whole
even
world.
the celebrities, they say a lot of celebrities are in crazy debt because they try to maintain this image, but the image doesn't accommodate the bank account.
Exactly.
And it's just a case of like when you're in certain environments, a lot of people out here pushing a certain image, but you don't realize they're in debt. But you think for yourself, oh, I studied so and so many years and I have this much debt for duo, and you feel that level of like it's just me. But
but that comes from our beliefs as well too now, because I mean in the Caribbean it's a taboo basically to talk about money. Like for instance, you have that saying like, oh, don't count my money. I don't count people money. You understand? Yeah, that next one too. But it's like you actually should. That's where we get in how you say ignorant when it comes down to finances, because if you're not having a conversation, like I could come to you and be like, hey, how much you to make? And then you tell me, and like, oh, but my cousin down the road doing the same job you do, but she making a whole grand more than you, you know? If you didn't know that, you would have just think like, oh, I ball, not I'm making enough money, I save. But by having that conversation, you'll be able to learn more things, as well as just be like, okay, so how you do it? You know? And we trade off like that. But that's the next thing we don't do. We don't share.
No, but you think that's why, if we have to talk about the lack of not speaking about financial literacy on the island, it comes from this? Like, everybody want to keep things to themselves and not share, or people just don't know?
I think it's a twofold situation, because it's one, you don't know, and also that we don't want to share, because like, oh, but why I gotta tell you my business for? It's your business to know how much I don't make per month. Granted, some people don't need to know. Because, it has some people you should not tell your business to. But if it comes down to your friends, your family, your mother, your father, whatever, you know, to me, those safe environments, it should be okay to share.
Yeah, that's true.
But like you studied finance and everything, but say for us who want to get that level of financial literacy and just want to learn outside of a actual diploma, how would you like advise people to do that?
I'm gonna be a little biased now, but
be biased,
I'm gonna say you come to people like me, you know, for financial coaching.
You can see her links in the bio down below. Check her out, her page, everything.
So that's where it could start. Also, just because we have the internet. Just type in, hey, how to make a budget, for instance, or whatever your question would be. There's where you find all the information just to start with. Sometimes you can't translate it yourself, so again I would say then you come to somebody like me who could really sit down with you and be like, okay, what's your thoughts? But also help you to understand your financial makeup, like your personality, because creating a budget is one thing, that's a tool, but you also need to understand the psychological aspect of money and what makes you tick, right? Because how you grow up, Hadie, and how you grow up, Jody, is two different ways. Your mother would tell you maybe money don't grow on trees.
My father said the same thing.
You understand? So that's where the differences will come in. So for me, it's really just about finding the right way that works for you, and also finding a coach that also understands your background, as well as that could translate, you know, who you are and make you kind of see like, okay, for instance, if I feeling sad, I gonna go down by Zara, go buy a pants, right? But also understanding that part, like what drives you to go down by Zara, go buy a pants when you're feeling sad? Why you think buying a particular item, for instance, gonna make you feel better?
Therapy.
You know, financial therapy. That's a new study that coming out as well too, in the aspect of kind of combining mental health with money, because then you have, for instance, it leads into anxiety, for instance, depression, and those different aspects. So kind of having people who could stand in the middle and say like, okay, you know what, this is I think where your issue lie, and I would maybe then advise you to go to therapy to figure out that other part where you can get help in terms of like, you know, your anxious feelings, for instance.
You just read books?
Yes, I do.
You read the psychology of money?
Yes,
right?
I have.
I feel like a lot of those things kind of linked. I like how you write it.
Very understandable, and relatable as well too.
But even the thing of like, why you going to buy the pants? I think I have a quote in the book. He was like, knowing. I think I called Enough, that episode.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
episode.
The chapter.
That chapter, when he was just like asking yourself why you even do that when you have enough already. But going back to like what you were talking about with like upbringing, you feel like, I think we all have our own different upbringings. That has eventually shaped how you look at money, how you handle money, and how you view it, I guess. Same thing. Like, I've been thinking, 'cause a lot of people like to think, like, if you grow up with it, then either privileged enough to have to not think about certain things, whereas some people who didn't, they also think about it differently. But at the same time, some people that didn't have it, they also have more motivation to, like, never want to go back there.
Yep.
And then I just wonder, like, what's the different things you've seen helping people, or how you look at them?
Well, I would say it really is different based on your circumstances. You know, you have people who come from backgrounds of not having, and then they inhabit these financial habits of hoarding money. You know, where you hear like, oh, save for a rainy day. They take it to an extreme and really just only save and not invest. So then your money just sitting on a bank account. The bank having a good time lending your money out, making bank on it, and you just have it there saving. Whereas you have other people who come from a background of always having, they don't know how to save. You know, they always compulsively spending. They don't earn the money ever, and their life is just basically trash. You know, from an outside standpoint, they will look like, oh, but they come from money, so they're going to be fine. When in actuality, those people have a lot of issues that they have to deal with as well, because they wasn't brought up with a certain level of financial literacy either. You know, and then you could have those people who also just fall right in the middle, who then, you know, they don't really hoard, but then they also spend in a certain way, but they also don't invest, for instance. So you kind of, it depends really on your background and your makeup, and based on that's really how you will live your life.
Because I think, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Are you sure? No, because whenever I think on, in general, like the whole conversation with money, I just always really think of it from a place of like, I don't like to judge people because we all have our different backgrounds. But at the same time, like a lot of people like to think like, yeah, you know, what am I trying to say? Guys, I'm hungry. So, no, a lot of people like to think like, you know,
the train coming, it gonna reach. What were you talking about?
No, okay. I know what I was going to say. Because you just said the two extreme ends of that. Like, you know, some people just hoard money. Some people just don't know how to go about money. But I think anybody tune into this conversation, that's what I was going to say. Like, I don't like to make people feel like they're doing things wrong. Because I think sometimes just not knowing, you got to look at yourself in that way. But also, I like to factor in that everybody have different situations. So, for example, we live in a time of inflation or whatever. And I don't want people like watching this episode now, that's what I'm trying to say, thinking that like I doing it wrong, or like, so I want to kind of have the conversation of like, we talking about a lot of things, but let's take it a step back of like where to start, what's the different things like you could look at to make money, like, but it's a hard conversation because there's so many like
but they even mention
aspects.
it in the Power of Money, where he says everybody spends money differently, but it doesn't make any way right or wrong. It's just like what you say, how you grew up and what you're exposed to. And I just feel like if people come to terms with that, they can find the strengths and weaknesses in how they approach money, and then figure out how to make their weaknesses their strengths.
Exactly.
But that weakness could be a strength of a other, like say a hoarder could have a strength of somebody who's a spender.
Exactly.
And you kind of just find that middle ground. And I feel like that's where is a case of how people approach money now. I think everybody have their own way, and it's not wrong, but I do think we definitely need to look at more aspects of how we could just make our approach better, because it might be leaning too much to one side. So it's more to get it level.
But that's where the self-awareness come in. Because you really have to do the work, you know, because when you realize like, okay, every month I finding myself in the same situation over and over again. So you really have to be like, okay, what's causing this? So it starts with awareness.
Exactly.
You know, and then the next step after that is really then looking at your budget, for instance, and like putting everything in a category. So, you know, starting with your income. What all coming in, you document that, create little labels for it if you have different streams, for instance, and then you go down to your expenses. Then you look at, okay, what's the fixed things I have to pay every single month, like clockwork that don't change?
I feel like I need to take notes.
I don't watch the episode and take
Yes.
notes. Just
So-
like how you should be doing.
Exactly.
Pull out all your book right now.
Yeah.
But you could always,
Check
Before-
Financialish
Exactly.
page. Hit her up.
Exactly. So the third step after that is then looking at your variable expenses. So things that changes, things that you can control are going to change as well too, because for instance, if you have your phone a subscription, you have unlimited, it don't have to be unlimited. You realize that, okay, I spending too much money per month, let me reduce my subscription to something a little bit more cheaper.
Yeah.
If I know I don't call nobody, I just call in through WhatsApp, then I just put in a few minutes on my phone to be able to call, and the rest is just the internet, for instance. So that's where you kind of look at it, and then you like come down to the last, you're like, okay, all right, this is the things I have to pay. What I can now put towards, for instance, saving, self-care. Sometimes people do it the other way around. You look at your income first, and then you save, and then you calculate your expenses and come down to what we call a zero-based budget would be then. Every dollar has a job. So by the time you come down, it should amount to zero, and then you know, okay, everything gone somewhere, and now what's for me to spend, and what I call then is I call it a self-care budget. So what I need per month to make my life tick and keep me happy as a person, so I don't be out here, demonizing anybody basically. So that's really how you have to look at your budget, and then also correlate it with your goals. That's something that we don't really think often enough. We just think like, okay, let me just save, but what you're saving for?
Yeah.
Put a what we call, I usually use like something called SMART goals, which would be you make your goals specific, measurable, actionable, are relevant, and then time bound. So once you use that as a goal post, or better yet, as steps to create your goals, it should make it a lot more easier. And then look at a timeline, like, okay, when I want to accomplish this, when I want to do this by, and by just using your budget and then setting your goals, which it sounds very straightforward, but it's not. You also, again, need to look into, your financial behavior. So you're like, okay, cool, I want to do all these things, but I know myself. I know I don't stick to a budget. I know when month end come, my friends be like, yo, let me go out. I gone. And then I gonna think about that budget later. So also those are things you have to think about. Like, okay, cool, I make the budget, I have the goals, but how do I behave to make all of these things really realistic and actionable? So,
and with your advice and everything, what's the most, let's say, concerns you encounter from people, or like what's the most issues people face with actually making a budget?
I would say understanding, but also the willingness. Because the thing is, like, people don't always know where to start, because I study finance, so I know exactly where to go about it, how to go about it. But for instance, Hadie, maybe you're a teacher, you might know more or less. Jody, you too as well, based on how you study, but somebody else might not, So they could look at the paper and be like, but okay, I mean, I know how much I'm making, but like, what's supposed to do next, So that's really... The key thing is really the understanding part of it. That will make it easy. And if, again, like I say, you don't know, you find somebody who does. It don't have to be a coach. It could be a friend who know how to do it, But again, by having those conversations, you'll be able to learn things from different people. So.
And what questions would you say? Sorry, I'm really interested. It's like a full interview.
It's all good.
But like, how the talk about money is just taboo. How would you advise somebody to pose that conversation? As in, like, how would you advise us, say if I want to speak to Hadie or just friends in general about finances, how would I bring that conversation about, in a sense?
I mean, it really depends on how comfortable you be with the people you're talking to.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, if you talk to your sister, you talk to your brother, for instance.
Yeah.
It's going to be a totally different conversation than when you talk to your friend.
Yeah.
For sure.
Again, the shame comes in.
Yeah.
Thinking about, should I share this, for instance? I would always, I kind of bold. So when I approach a conversation, I talk to everybody any kind of way. Like, so what you just do, for instance, you just this and that and whatnot, kind of open the flow, but also create a safe environment to share. So how I would start that conversation is based on who you're talking to. So if it's your brother or your sister who you're comfortable, you'll be like, yo, what do you think about money? Like, how you ever thought about how you just spend? You ever thought about your thought process when you're buying something, for instance, when it comes down to negotiating a salary, like, you ever thought about it? Like, you just accept what your job give you, or you really, like, went in and telling, let's say, and I think I work X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So I would say those are kind of little prompts that you could use to really start, those kind of conversations that would then make the person comfortable to continue then having those conversations going forward.
I got a question for like everybody. What's a taboo? Like, what's a belief, let's say, you had growing up that you realize around money, of course, that you realize now was something that was just really in your way, in a sense? Like, it wasn't something that you needed to believe.
Ali, you go first.
I really gotta think. Okay. I thinking on like this whole conversation have me thinking on like how was I looking at money back then, and even leaving the island, if I was really processing like what all it would take to eventually, like, in my head, and maybe this is a little delusional from back then, it's like, yeah, you come to Holland, you get your study, you're going to get a job, and like I wasn't even thinking like maybe I don't know, that's probably I wasn't even thinking like I could struggle along the lines, and then I don't think I ever had any conversations about like investing, and of course my mother used to tell me like save and stuff like that. She have a little tricks, but like I wasn't thinking on it. So I think that was my problem, like just not even putting my mind to even think about it, period.
But that's a part of adulting that they don't teach us about, you know. And that was also one of the reasons why I started, because being a student too, I was like, wait, we come up here, we get all kind of workshops, but nobody teach us about how to manage our money. So that's a thing that I started to do too. I think it's like 4 years now running that I just give the students when they come up a workshop. And the reason for that is really like, look, y'all come to a whole different country where you're actually now in charge of your, again, some children are already in charge of their finances based on where they come from, but you have a lot of them have no clue. Like, example is a girl from one of the workshops tell me that she didn't know how to cook. So sis was on Uber Eats, balling out. By the time to 2 weeks, 2 weeks past, she ain't got no more money. So now she gotta go eat ramen noodles or boiled spaghetti,
Biscuits.
however she could to eat. And I was like, this is unnecessary. We don't need to end up here. All it takes is really just teaching and having a conversation. Guys, this is how you do it. So that's really, in my opinion, where it stems from the ignorance of one, not talking about money, but also the education system, in my opinion, needs an overhaul because it's not reflective of the current times. I think we need to include financial education into the curriculums of the schools.
For sure.
And for you, was a thought process you had, like, growing up around money?
This is a famous one. I know if I know this one, this one like really old people like, but basically say cut your coat according to your cloth.
These quotes,
but it's so creative.
Yes, but my friend Daniela the city seems like I never heard this in my life.
The old people them have all kind of ways to say things.
Cut your coat
according to your cloth, and what that means is living within your means.
Yes.
So I can have a crop top or a long t-shirt.
You better live within that crop top.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one was like a how you say it? Look, don't get me wrong now. The old people like got a lot of wisdom, but again, it has two folds to it. So yes, you do need to live within your means because lifestyle inflation is a thing. Like I could say, when I started to do consultancy, my salary went up 5 times the amount I was making before. And so I was okay. Like, I got it. I could do X, Y, and Z. But then I was like, hold on, sis, you got taxes to pay. So the living within your means part, I had to check myself real quick because I was like, as fast as you make it, it could be gone. So cut your coat according to your cloth. The cloth could get extended though, because there's always ways of making more money.
If I buy more cloth?
You could buy more cloth, definitely.
Or
Yeah. What about you though?
I had, like, I always heard the money don't grow on trees thing, but I had a different view on money where I was scared of it. That was the best way I could put it, because I felt like money would change me, or money would make me act a certain way.
And that is also a part of the taboo. But go ahead.
Yeah, like that was a mindset I used to have, because I don't know, I guess growing up we also have that taboo where it's like people who make money, they ain't really good people, like if they rich or whatever. And I think that's something that used to stand in my way of like just going for stuff. And I feel like growing older, I built a better relationship with my views on money. So yeah, for me, that's the main one.
That's a big kickback as well too, because also when we start next thing, you're kind of judging from the book by cover, right? Because you see somebody who got money, instead of we think like, how they make that money? Exactly. I'm like, no, people who make money ain't good people. Ain't everybody out here selling drugs, guys.
Nah.
Ain't everybody out here doing illegal things. Like there's a ton a load of ways to make money. So for me, my mindset is if I see somebody making money, I'll be like, yo, but how you get through?
Yeah.
You know, why you start doing what you're doing? You know, what makes you tick as a person? Again, you learn something.
Yeah. My brain here going on, like, I feel like there's two sides of the conversation. I feel like some people might be in situations where we were talking about earlier just now, where it's like they just stuck, like they live in paycheck to paycheck. And I would just wonder, like, what advice you could give those kind of people. But then you have the people who doing the budgeting, doing that, but they don't know what's next. So I just feel like, what's the advice for where you at? And then there's so many different avenues.
I would say what I could only go based on that context, but again, everybody different, right? But for me, what it boils down to is career strategy. When I finished school, I was like, cool, I started my first job, like what I need to do in order to arrive by X, for instance. So my goal was always to go into consultancy, but I wanted to be a generalist. I'd be able to do everything in operational finance. Some people who live in, just take it back. So some people who live in paycheck to paycheck, right? You don't know how you're going to come about it. Again, you look at your career, like, okay, what I doing? What are the skills I have that I can basically use to elevate myself? As well as maybe you need to invest in your skills. Maybe you need to do a course, you know? Again, you live in paycheck to paycheck, but there's ways. Okay, maybe I need to take a small loan to be able to pay for this course that going to put me in a better bracket in terms of finding a job. That's, again, subjective because the market we live in now in Holland, it got some people who got 2 master's degrees and can't find a job, you know?
Right.
So it depends, again, based on the market conditions, where you stand in your life, and also your capabilities.
Yeah.
So I would say for the paycheck to paycheck. The other one was...
Like, okay, we're talking about budgeting and then you don't know what to do with the money and what's next. Like, what would you say is the different options for a person?
Where you look at, again, your goals, you know?
Yeah.
What you want to accomplish in life.
But what all would you say, other than saving, what's different things you could do to kind of, like, double what you have?
Yeah, you got a bunch of investing buzzword, you know, but it's true.
Like, people don't know. People that say the word investing, but then it's like, what is that? Where do I start?
It has so much of different facets, you know. So you could go into stocks, you could go into mutual funds, you could go into bonds, you could go into peer-to-peer lending, for instance. You could start a business, you could do real estate. All these different things, all of them have different ways of getting into it. Real estate is not as straightforward as people think it is. You know, especially in these times, everything's so expensive. To borrow more expensive as well and currently. Peer-to-peer lending, for instance. In Sematic, you got partner hand. But you don't get no interest on that. But instead of like borrowing your money to the bank or leaving it sit in your savings account and leaving them borrow it out, you go borrow it out yourself. You know, so there's in Holland, they got a platform called Lender Spender. So there you could basically deposit your money every month and then they take it and borrow it too. Maybe you need a loan, Jody. So, you know, you go there, get a loan, but it's from Haiti money basically. You know, and you make interest on that. You have crowdfunding is another aspect as well. That's more straightforward. It starts with like sometimes even 50 euros or 100 euros you could put in. I do it already and I did it for Snapcard, for instance, when they crowdfund and I still getting my money back. No, I think it's going to be like 5 years I continually getting a payout plus interest. You know? So it have those small ways where you could start. It don't always have to be a whole big thing like, oh my God, start a business. Because everybody got business acumen.
And I think that's what a lot of people, that's what stands in the way of a lot of people. Even I had that where when I wanted to start investing, I thought I needed a big sum of money before I could invest. Because even another thing growing up, you think you need to be rich in order to invest in stocks or do those kind of things. And I realized, honestly, if you start with a 50 euro a month, that could get you so far. And it's just the level of patience that you need to have to see that actually multiply. But even just doing that means a lot. So I guess for me, what I try to say for people who listening, even if you got $10 or 10 euros,
you could start.
You could invest that.
Exactly. And I think that's a misconception too, but that draws back to, I want to say it come from colonizer times, but basically how we look at things, everybody who got money ain't look like us. right? So we just think, okay, that's too far away for me to reach it. So let me just don't focus on that. We as Black people, let me say, people of color, we have too much of a scarcity mindset. You know, we always thinking the well gonna run dry. That next thing too.
Yeah.
That one I know.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
The well ain't gonna run dry. The well will only run dry if you start putting water on the well.
Yeah.
Facts.
You know, so that's where we really start to really go back and look at, okay, what am I doing to improve my situation and who I have in my circle that could help, you know, because that next thing we don't think about. If you're okay with a friend who always want to be in the club, popping bottles and buying Henny in the club for 150 euros, for instance, whereas a bottle costs, what, 20 something in the shop.
Yeah.
By
you know?
the little Nachwinkel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you in there in so-called VIP, just a little circle for me, you know, those type of things you have to look at, like, who am I in my circle that helping me move forward, or they pulling me backwards?
Yeah.
You know, because we don't think about that enough.
But is there a balance between that?
It can, but it depends on how strong you is as a person.
Okay.
Because for instance, with me, my friends could be like, oh, we're going here, go do this. I don't care how much money I got. Like, if that don't make sense, me doing it.
Facts.
You know?
I get really bad with that. Bro, like, I should probably sometimes go. Yeah.
You gotta learn when to say no and also
Yeah.
to see what really fits to you as a person. Because everything you got to be like, okay, you know what, you want to go down here, let me go with you too. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Or maybe drink before the event.
That
so that you
too.
don't
Yeah.
drink too much at
And
the
trust me,
event.
you'll have more fun that way.
You really do though.
Yeah, because who going to spend 8 years and just, I mean, we live in a house. Who going to spend almost, I think I went to a party last week, they had a cocktail for 11 euros. I say for liquid,
For liquid and ice.
You
know,
you put half of it is ice.
is that,
Not
and when I see them
liquid.
pour it, they don't got a little mix and the rest is soda. That thing that get me
Yeah.
vexed, you know? So it's those things I just look at like, I don't care how much money I make or you spend it
Yeah.
on that.
Facts. But
I
talking
get you.
about parties, song of the week, guys.
Okay. I want to plug what I was going to say. I hope I don't remember it. I mean, I hope I don't forget
You got it?
Yes.
Yes,
You want to give us a title so we can refer back
No, I
to
don't
it?
remember it.
Okay.
I hope. You
Yes,
sure?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Okay.
The
Song
fact
of
that
the
you do
week.
all of that, you have to now.
Yeah, I love you.
Song of the week.
I don't like been forgetting.
My song of the week is Work It from Tian Winter.
She giving y'all a little
Yeah, the
soca,
soca
soca.
vibes, soca
And you were
vibes.
saying what as a
That my
good
gym song, you know, when I'm doing like the thing.
I gonna try it tomorrow.
Pump up the bumping and thing, you know.
What's yours?
Hold on.
Okay, I have mine because everybody was saying the Lotto album was good. So I'm gonna listen to it, and she has some good songs on there. So the last song on disc 1, Shout Out to Me. Yeah, Lotto.
Shout out
to me.
Yeah,
Shout out
listen
to
to
you,
that
Lotto.
one.
Yeah,
For me is Esgela.
it's good.
Is I'm a
Sounds
piano, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm obsessed with the song right now. I listen to it every single day.
Did you add it to the playlist?
I did.
Okay.
So we have a playlist and I was slacking on
I'm
it.
a
I'm
piano
so sorry.
playlist.
If y'all want to check it out, we also have an I'm a piano playlist.
It
It's on
Wait.
Spotify?
Yeah,
Alright.
and it's fire.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my song of the week.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Now,
what was gonna say?
the plug.
No, I was going to just speak on my experience because I feel like you kind of share that what you thinking. What you?
You need to eat, Heidi. You need to
I'm
eat.
really hungry.
No, viewers, you understand, so you good.
Anyway,
Take your time,
I
girl.
hear. I was thinking on the word investing, and that's why I keep hammering on that because I feel like if I have to think on me, I feel like growing up, I never hear anybody around me talk about it. If there was, I was just in my own bubble. But I really don't think so. I think the only things growing up I saw was like people starting businesses and those kind of things. And then looking at, I guess I only saw that as an opportunity to become rich. And then I came up here, and then funny enough, like some of my friends at the time had started getting into, like, at the time it was Bitcoin and crypto. And these conversations had sound like somebody speaking Chinese to me.
Blockchain
So I
and this
just
and
like,
that. Yeah.
so I just kind of tuned it out. I was just like,
This
I
don't
wouldn't
make
even,
sense.
You see,
that ain't even for me to
and
understand.
that's a thing too, because it depends on how you break it down, right? So for me, my point of doing all this too is to make it easy for people to understand.
Exactly.
Because finance is not straightforward. Trust me, for instance, like crypto, I had to do a deep dive. Shout out to Dano, by the way, because he was the first person that really sit down with me and helped me to understand how to go about it. So again, people would think like, oh, she studied finance, she's supposed to know. Like, no, that is new technology, you know? So I was like, I send money from, for instance, one account to the next one, and it was like 170 euros, and I was like, but where money can, you know, I here sitting now waiting for it to show up income, so I had to find somebody who could, you know, help me understand that part. So that's what it boiled down to again, you know, finding people who could explain it to you on a level that you can understand, and also having the patience to do so, because sometimes too, like, it ain't easy to translate. You know, if I gotta sit down and be like, okay, Heidi, what going on here with you, you know? I have to be able to tell you, like, hey, this is how you need to do X, Y, and Z in a way that you could understand to do it, because just giving your for instance a Excel sheet and be like, look, fill in your numbers, figure it out, ain't the way for you to move forward or feel empowered about your finances. So
true. You can ask AI.
At this point now you can.
That too.
I know I keep referring to AI, but we gotta use that technology, guys. It's available to us. Use it.
They have a meme where this person was like, Black people need to start using. They had AI. They had a bunch of different things. I should look it up just now, but it was just like, we don't really, what we said earlier, don't have these conversations, but we just really feel like it's not for us. We're so far removed from our worlds, and that we don't take the step to just use the tools that are out there in the world.
But you can't blame us either, huh?
No,
because I feel like they do some things on purpose, as in, like, there's so much jargon in these conversations that they make you not want to converse anymore.
Exactly.
And I feel like once you see something that could be a potential for like financial gain, simplify it as much as you can. And I think even if we apply that to like every part of our life, even in the gym, you know how they have like, oh yeah, you need to approach your scapula, and that will allow you to have the retractor. Nah. Just say your middle back.
Yeah, exactly.
Need to get stronger.
Exactly.
Pull up.
Exactly.
Find a way to do that. Like
exactly.
with financials in a sense.
You think they have anywhere you would ever go into, like making videos and stuff explaining certain things for people?
Of course.
They would have to pay for it.
Well, I mean,
Make
granted.
A course.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I had stopped with social media for a bit because I was busy doing other things in the background. So I started a logistics company. I was still doing my freelance and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I need to take a step back. That didn't mean I stopped, though, because people were still contacting me to help them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I planning to revamp, and also then to come up with a platform basically where I offer courses. You could just log in, for instance, and just go through a particular subject and educate yourself. And then on top of that, of course, then just do the coaching on the side. So
I love that.
It is my plan in the future, along with starting a foundation, so I could also do that same thing in St. Martin, basically, and work from a sub-governmental standpoint of, you know, since the government ain't doing it, that somebody else should do it. And I don't mean, how I was trying to say is that starting a foundation towards financial education and empowerment based on the issues that we have on the island. So whether it is gambling, working in correlation with the mental health foundation, because I don't think they have a financial aspect to it, but we don't address, like, you know, all the lotto booths that in certain neighborhoods, and why people actually go into those lotto booths. A lot of people are addicted to gambling, for instance. So that's the route that I basically working on.
I love that
into.
though. Yeah. But I think all of this, what we're talking about with what going on the island, etc., is a big reason why before coming here, even me, and I could maybe speak for other people, we wasn't aware of certain things, and we just see certain things as normal. Like, by the way, somebody win the lottery and they income claim the ticket, I hear. So I hope that person find the ticket.
How much they win?
1.something million or
and
something.
they reach yet?
On the island. Bruh. Yeah. But you have 6 months or something to claim the...
I would be there. I say,
and everybody gonna stay quiet.
Nobody
We should all shut up.
They gotta do like that man in Jamaica.
My
put
friend
on the
was like, they're probably on the dump looking for the ticket. But yeah, going back to the point of like, we only see those certain things as ways to like make money. And I think that's why all these other avenues that you could do, we don't, of course, it's not our fault, really, going back to all the things you say. But I think that's why when sometimes we come in here, and that's why we just always say leaving the island sometimes is, one, a privilege. Can everybody get up to do that? But also, that's why we also could sit here and have this conversation. And I think when I think on certain people on the island, I know a lot of people really struggling because that also is a big part of the conversation, like where you come from and your environment. Of course, you ain't want to sit down and listen to a conversation about, oh, you should be investing your money when like you literally don't know how you're going to pay your child's school fee this month, those kind of things. But what I do want to plug in though,
talking about jobs,
even though, you know, sometimes things could be rough on the island, there are some things that you could do to better your situation.
And there's some initiatives.
And there's some initiatives. So one of the initiatives that we wanted to highlight and invite people to do is that the NESC, they were here previously on an episode, the National Employment Services Center of St. Martin is organizing a virtual national job fair on the October 2nd. It's a Wednesday at the Alice Convention Center, but it's a virtual one.
Exactly.
So technically, even the ones up here, if you're looking to look for a job back home, you could log in. They're doing online interviews.
We're gonna have the QR code. If you scan the QR code, you get a chance to just join. It's at 9 a.m. on St. Martin, so that means 3 o'clock here. So it's definitely a great opportunity for you to see how you could further your career on the island. They have 300 plus vacancies in about 25 companies, and it's counting still. So definitely check it out. We'll put all the links in the bio, scan the QR code, and join it. They was at a job fair last year. What? No, this year.
This year. We
Why did I feel like a while ago?
So long ago. It was this year. It was up here for the job fair, and we see other companies for the island.
And it was really good to see because I feel like a lot of people come here and they definitely want to go back home. And this is just a great way for you to see how you could do that. Because it's just like with a whole financial thing. You don't know how you could do something and you just get demotivated and you're like, I'm going to leave it.
Yeah. But that's why at the same, that's the same time that like the us that once ago we are still here is I just do feel like it's our job, our role. So like what you say, you was helping them look at the whole situation, the health and money and the lottery to like make people aware back home as to
what is our situation when it comes because it's not the thing is the economy is one thing because we're in control of that, but we are in control of our behaviors, and I feel like that's something again we don't have enough awareness about. So we need institutions because we cannot only depend on the government to do everything, so we need institutions that will just come forward and be like, you know what, we have this problem, this is how we can solve it, and also just empower each other to do it as well, because that's the next thing. If I know you, I gotta go, and I'm just talking about St. Martin context here. I gotta know Peter down the road in order to move that rock from there to the next point. And I find that that's unfortunate as well too. Again, not having that, I say the connectiveness to really move things forward as it should.
Yeah.
And how would you? Well, I don't know. For me lately, I feel like in this day and age, community and connection is getting less and less. And I feel like, okay, we could see how we could approach that, but how would you say to go about that in terms of trying to improve yourself financially or just get yourself ahead financially? Is there...
networking, putting yourself out there, not being afraid to talk to people, because I would say like when I had first start out with doing consultancy freelancing, I sent my CV everywhere under the sun. I was on that computer all day, and I got people start calling me back. They're like, come to our office, come meet us here. Till this day, sometimes people will call me, yo, you available? Like, no, I busy doing, I got another project. No, call me back in like 6 months or something. So
I can put you in my calendar.
Check me then. So by creating that network and also just putting yourself out there, that's how you can reach further. Again, in the Caribbean context, might not be as easy because we got a lot of different things to deal with, So you could go by Susie, and Susie give you attitude like me and know you, so what you come here for, So it's really trying to see like, okay, I work with you, maybe I'll work with another person along the road.
But I think we also just need to be, based on what I'm hearing, more open to accepting help, asking for help, or even starting initiatives. Like I even here thinking like what we could do for kind of you help students, this, that, or just even people after you finish study. We don't talk about the dual debt.
Oh God.
We don't talk about none of those things and situations people find out. Like I remember when I had tell people you could extend how long you take to start paying back due. Somebody didn't even know that. Like there's certain little things that like if we need to we just need to have that community and communicate more to help each other.
But also it starts from home, because like when I came to study, I was under the impression that St. Martin government is who paying for my stuff. Until when until when I realized like it's just book money and you got duke talk and the book money self ain't even enough. So it has some students who I mean, for me, I like to use the word privilege, but not in a negative context. I was privileged enough that my parents could have supplement what I was lacking.
Yeah.
You know, but I had some other people in my circle, their parents just ain't had it. And I had a friend who had to go work.
Yep.
You know,
And
study and work,
hard.
and that wasn't easy.
No.
Yeah.
I just
So-
always recommend not to work in
I disagree.
your first year. Your
Oh, your
first
first
year?
year, okay. Yeah, okay.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
you
I thought you were going to say in
first.
general, because
No. You can eventually work and study, but it's always be like your first year. Okay, I had this friend when they come up, they like initially just start working, and then they went into 2 jobs, and then I was like,
and what happened to the studies after that?
yeah,
Get pushed back, right?
yeah, and they starting back with their studies now. So like that was gonna say, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe we need to work on building that kind of community.
Yeah.
Why? Because now I hear thinking like, because I have a homeroom class and I could do and talk about anything. What topics you think I should talk to them? Because a lot of times, sometimes they just plain on ask me how much I'm making, and that's information they don't need to know.
Yeah, they don't
But
need to know.
at
yeah.
least I seen that they're interested into figuring out like, you know, how does money work at that age, and like how much I need to now be thinking to be making when I get older, and what are steps I have to take. Because right now I have to start guiding them into making the right path of like what they want to choose. Like, remember, you should choose business.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the English words. Business, care, or something else, or technique. And they just have to like, that's the whole dot system though. Like you have to choose a path from young.
Yeah.
And then based
Fine,
on that, you could choose a study. But like, what are certain topics or things I should do with them to like help them from now?
You know about the concept of ikigai?
Yes.
What?
Your
No?
purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Is a Japanese.
Yeah.
But you brought it.
Well, go ahead. You can start. Go ahead and add to it.
Well, yeah, no, I read the book, and they talk about finding your ikigai and how that allows you to just go through life in a place of purpose
Yeah.
and with intention. And that's
So it's a combination of doing what you like, what you call it, what you could get paid for,
and what
the world
world
needs, you know, and they have a next one to it was 4 things.
It's a book.
It's a book, yeah.
I have it.
It's
Yeah.
big.
No, it's a small book.
easy to
Yeah.
You can read it in a day.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can order it for them.
Basically.
You
Okay,
can.
cool.
I think they have an audiobook even.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But basically it's like exactly what Jody says, really finding your purpose work, you know? And when I read it, that's part of why I did Financialish too, because I was going through this whole process where I went to therapy, because it was after you had a breakup, it's like, your whole
Yeah,
realization.
Gotta speak to a professional.
So, but it wasn't because of the breakup, but it was just the breakup happened, and I had to sit down and be like, who you is?
Yeah.
And what you want, you know,
Yeah.
because when you go through those motions, sometimes you just start to believe things about yourself that ain't technically true. So by going through therapy and stuff like that, and then I started to do a lot of self-reflection and self-building. I bought books like that. That was one of them. Psychology of Money was the next one. The Alchemist was the other.
I love that.
You know, so using that book, the Ikigai, is where I was like, okay, what's my purpose? You know, what I can do to make money that I gonna enjoy. You know, and I was like, okay, but you always had 2 things, which was hospitality and finance. So that's why I stick with it. So I think by maybe helping them with you reading that book to start with and having a discussion, that could be a pathway towards them choosing something. Because we don't talk about as well when students come. Then we said, just you're choosing from so young. But when you get older, you realize, but this ain't what I want. You know, so you have a lot of people now stuck with duo debt for a degree that they don't want to use or can't use. You know, so then also that leads to you being depressed. Because then you're like, I got to pay back all this duo.
Exactly.
And for what? You know?
But to add, because how old are your students?
I feel like this is the perfect time. I ever tell you, like, the second year I worked there, I had a student teaching me about crypto.
Oh, wow.
Like, so some of them, like, I haven't seen that in years, because he graduated 2 years ago. And it's crazy to see, like, he's really up to, like, your upbringing and your surroundings, because he had cousins and stuff into it already. But in general, I feel that's the best time. So 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, because I was going to say what you could also do, because I know some kids don't like reading in a sense. You can make it like an exercise where you actually write down, okay, what is your purpose, or what are you good at, blah, blah, blah. What can you give to the world? And they fill it out for themselves. So you just have a moment where everybody just kind of goes through that. Because sometimes we would read the book, but not apply it.
Exactly.
And I feel like that way they could actually apply it.
Yeah, I would have to make exercises around the book.
Yeah, and
But
just
other
talk
than the
about career
book,
choices.
Yeah.
As well as when it comes down to money too. Like, you know, again, what you see. Okay, let me backtrack like this.
Okay.
What is there in life
Yeah.
when it comes down to money that you feel you can do, right? Like, what is a need in the world that you feel you can fill?
That's a good question for them to answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, again, self-reflection, awareness, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just really just having those conversations. Just talk plainly about money. What you think about money?
Yeah.
What are like, you know, just ask them about the background in the household and like, you know, what the parents teach them about money. They could start that kind of conversation within the classroom that they could start to feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, I just have those conversations in general too. That's why I always thinking on different circumstances. 'Cause a lot of my students come from households where they don't have it, because people just think living in Holland everybody have it. There's places here where people just don't have it. So it's a tricky thing sometimes, because they at that age also it's like, I don't want to tell people I ain't have no food or stuff like that. So there's that. But we was having a conversation of like the educational system lacking. So I wanted to ask, are you was things you could do? So I think those kind of conversations too. But I remember they had the TikTok with this model, and it also starts at home. This mother literally, and her children was young, and she told them, okay, you have this amount for the month. I want you to make a budget. And the children was there like, this is how much you paying for rent?
Oh yeah, they lived that. She was appalled, like, rent expensive.
And she would hold it in her head. Like, and then she started crying, like, I don't know how am I gonna be an adult. And I think those realizations, they just
No. What's something that from when you were small you didn't realize was that expensive? Example,
food.
For me, an ironing board.
I
didn't realize an ironing board when I was small. Like, I didn't expect an ironing board to be so expensive.
It's really
What kind of ironing board you buying though?
Angie, I went on ball.com and I was just looking for iron board. I think in 15 euros. Like, the cheapest was starting at 20 something, 30 something, and if I wanted a good one, it was 50, 60 euros.
Bruh,
I was like,
I don't know.
iron some clothes.
I guess I buy mine too long ago because I spent 10 euro for mine.
Really?
Where about the market?
We know that was IKEA back in the day, girl. But ironing board don't go
check
style,
IKEA.
so you know, you buy it, you got it.
That's true. But I had never buy. There's certain things I come Holland and I see the price and I just never buy it because I was just like, for years I didn't have a garbage. I'm sorry.
What you doing?
Use bags.
Yeah.
I hear you,
I
girl.
remember one time my friend was like, I get your garbage for Christmas. And that's how I have my garbage that I have now.
Really?
Yeah.
But what kind of garbage you wanted to buy though?
I had garbage from them.
They had the cheap IKEA ones I had in my student house in Groningen. But when I talk about when I moved to this house that I had, I think the first 2 years I did not have a garbage in that house.
Will you hang the garbage bag or something? You just
we just have the garbage bag on.
Wait, but what's those things for? Like, what you thought when you were small was like, what surprised you?
No, I said it food.
Oh yeah,
that's
you
food.
did.
Yeah, seriously, food.
Yeah.
And it getting worse.
Yeah, because I was checking. It had a time my mother had baked me a hamburger. I didn't want it. I fling it over there, you know. She make me go pick that up and eat it, bro. Yeah.
And your mother ain't fling you with it?
No, she make me go and pick it up and eat it. And she
As you
stand
should.
right there. She was like,
As
eat
you
it.
should.
You know,
Yeah.
and I take a bite and then she like, okay, try it away now. Stop wasting food. You know, and every time I go in the shop, I just remember that. Don't forget when you throw away that hamburger, you have to eat that.
Oh yeah.
It was
I
on the
would remember
floor.
that.
Lit outside in the dirt.
Oh my
Your mother
god.
say you will eat out that today.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Have to put it whole back together, everybody.
Yeah.
So food, and it getting more, like you say, more ridiculous as the time go by. I have certain things I just stop buying.
Yeah.
You know, so
Like
I was
what?
like,
I curious.
a little bougie, because I used to just go in the shop and just pick up whatever I feel like and throw it in the cart and just leave. But not actually just being intentional. And I mean, my partner also plays a role in that too.
Yeah.
You know, but I just go in the shop now, like, okay, cool. What I feel like eating today, but I don't like hot up food. So I gotta go by the.
Are you bougie?
No,
people?
and that is just, you know, if I certain hot up food I could eat, like barbecue chicken, I could do that.
Hot up food.
You know, but you know, certain things nah. So for me it's like, okay, cool. What I need to buy to make my food every single day. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, cool, I'm going to shop every day.
But you would cook every day?
If I have to.
But you don't cook for like 2 days or 3? Max?
I don't like I try the meal prep thing, ain't work.
Oh.
For me, I don't even meal prep now.
It's
I just really make
enough
big
food.
portion.
Yeah.
I'm not a portion person. I don't make big pot. My pasta need to fill the pot.
Really?
I need to use a whole pack.
And then what you just do after?
Nyam it.
All right.
Yeah.
So you literally just have it portion out for days.
Yeah, I keep it in like a big. I have big buckets. Put in a big bucket, and then I'm the type of person, guys. I could eat the same thing a lot.
I can't do
especially if I really like it. 'Cause I love like bolognese. I'll make a big pot of bolognese. I eat that for lunch and dinner for 2 days, and I'm good.
Yeah, I'm a partner nightmare. Because
Really?
yeah, she
You
want
need
me
to eat something
I
different
don't
every day?
Yeah, because it's like she'll be like, you gonna eat that? I like, no, go ahead. You know, I gotta make something else. Like I can't. So
Nah,
for me,
you have those kind of people.
Yeah.
Is it people
Yeah.
who could eat stuff
I
multiple
don't know if it's a
times or
chef
no?
in me or what, because I could make whatever I feel like. So I think that next thing too, I go based on my feelings. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
today I had chicken yesterday, I want chicken today again. You
I
know?
hear it though. I hear it.
But it's the effort. Who doing that every day?
If
Yeah.
somebody could chop up all the stuff for me, I would be so happy.
It's the
Honestly,
dishes. It's
for
the
me.
dishes.
I like the dishes. As in, I don't. Yeah.
You like
I-
washing dishes?
It's
You like
therapy.
washing dishes?
I actually do,
Oh,
but
yeah?
maybe because I have a dishwasher now, I don't remember how bad it
Daddy,
was.
then the transition is for you.
No, but as in, I don't know. I like to feel. I like it. But for me, if somebody could really just chop up everything, I would cook every day. Truly, that's the part I hate the most. Wait, but with cooking, because you also studied cooking, what
I
made
study
you
hospitality.
Hospitality.
hospital?
And she could cook, guys.
Yeah,
I've had
yeah,
her
I
food.
want to taste high key. But for you, what made you think? Because did you study hospitality before finance?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
What kind of made that shift to finance?
I never had a shift. It was always the two things from high school.
Okay.
So I went to Sundial, and in Sundial you have, which I did was economics, and they also have hospitality. My father back then, when I had told him I want to become a chef, he
Yeah.
was like, and that's the next thing we need to stop doing in Caribbean households, is telling children, don't do this because. So my father was like, oh, what you want to be a chef for? You got to be in a hot kitchen all day cooking and you don't make much money. What he wasn't exactly wrong, right? But my ambition wasn't to be in nobody kitchen cooking. It was to do my own thing. So in high school, I always would then run to the hospitality sector when they got like cookouts and things in India, helping and whatnot. And the minute he used to come kick me up, he like, Angelique, you won't choose this vac, get out the kitchen, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. When I was done with Sundial, I went and I did MBO. I went to ROC Mondrian and I did hospitality management. And then I was working in a hotel in all different facets. I did housekeeping, I did front office, F&B, conference and events. I was also in the office doing finance and accounting when I was in when I did my bachelor's. I did go to Hilton to do an internship there.
Okay.
So after doing that, I had a leap year where I was like, okay, deciding, do I want to then go to Habio and do hospitality or go into finance? And then I was like, okay, cool. I had the experience already. You're always working. You're always tired. When everybody else on vacation, you got to be working. I was like, dying for me.
Yeah.
So I then decided to go into the finance part. But it still revolved back to me going back into hospitality and now combining the two because now I got a financial acumen.
Yeah.
Part, so.
But you had no from young, though.
Yeah, I really did know.
That is
My
good.
mother even cussed me out for wasting she food, as she called it, because I go cooking the rice too salty and all that. But I still didn't stop. So
I hear you.
Yeah. Cooking the rice too
yeah,
salty.
girl. She was like, that salt like the ocean, nobody can eat it.
Oh my gosh. But how you grew up with like cooks in your house? Or you
Yeah.
just had a...
My mother is, so my grandmother is cook, my mother is a cook, and my grandfather used to say, why she could turn a pot and then it come down now to me. My brother
Turn a
also
pot.
could cook too. So yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
What?
You could turn a
You
pot.
could turn a
Ton
pot.
of pot.
Yeah.
You could turn a pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then to kind of,
Go ahead.
yeah, vibe.
I was gonna ask you, are you one last question? Because I think we was talking about you were saying that you know the 17K thing. And I was thinking like at what point did you have in your life up here that made you think like I need to get it together financially? But I feel like that was
leads
that
into the
moment.
question I was going to ask. So
I
that's
have
perfect,
multiple of those moments, you know. I think that the next thing we don't talk about is the truth, right? Life is life. And life in right now, you know. So it's a matter of really sitting down and assessing like what I doing now.
Yeah.
For instance, like a year and a half ago, I decided to go into logistics because I had a client who come to me, he like, yo, you could do this, do that, whatever. I do it, and now I had a part of, no, chop it, you know, because it come with a lot of different aspects to it, also dealing with people who not honest about these situations as well. And we don't talk about business partnering as well, and knowing who you're going into business with, because that is very important. You know, so I had a stage in my life again, you're like, okay, cool, reassess. You know, you did this, cool. I have a whole certificate in logistics I could use whenever I feel like it. But I just like this in the stage of my life where I'm at now, where I feel I need to put attention towards that.
That makes sense.
You know, so
and that's okay too. I think for us, sometimes we're a bit afraid to move on to different things. Because for me, I had it where I'm a bit radical, so I would jump to different things, and in my head, I would feel like, okay, you need to stick to something. Yeah. But at the same time, sometimes what you're sticking to is not really sticking back in a sense, and it's just not a path that you need to follow now. And I think for us, at least for me, realizing that that's okay kind of helped me reassess and redirect where I go in, basically. But since we're in recession and all of that,
that's your answer?
What?
That.
Oh, there was a question posed to the both of us. What's the question? Sorry, I got lost in her
I asked you
statement.
one moment that make you feel like you need to get together. Was it that you was jumping from
from time I reached, because guys, I made a big mistake in the beninging. And I'm very grateful for it, because I got a gift, which turns out is not a gift from City Financialish. Guys, I blew it. I bought my sister a cost. I buy everybody something. I was eating up every... That's why I know the restaurants, because I went there to blow my money. And I really wasn't responsible. And I reached so much in a hole financially. And I have the same thing with my parents, where it's like, you need to be able to be responsible for your money. If you're in an emergency, cool, but you need to do your own thing. And for me, it was a rude awakening, to the point where I was like, nah, I can't even go outside. Like, I just didn't know what to do. And that's when I was like, I need to get it together. And I didn't fully get it together, so I had increments of realizing I need to get it together. I feel like we always reach a new level of getting it together. For me, I think every year I have a get it together moment. So, but for me, that was the biggest moment. And for you?
I remember that.
Oh God.
I was gonna say having a man, but
I mean, if we being honest.
Guys, it was that. But then I feel like it could be that, but then I also realized that it also wouldn't be that bad if I also had my own healthy behavior habits with my money. So I feel like it was a thing of both. I don't feel like I had.
It was like two to tango.
I didn't had like really healthy habits with how I was going about my money. And then if I want to choose to help or spend it on a person the whole time, like that not gonna get me nowhere. And then even when that situation and exit my life, I don't have a certain habit. So then I was like, okay, the person in there to blame the most is really going to be
all on you.
And then I was like, you need to get it together. That was
but
it.
also in those moments you got, because I always say these last couple of weeks I had a lot of those moments. I was like, I had to sit down like, what you gonna do, girl? You know, because you time ticking, you know, but also you have to show yourself grace in those moments, because it could be a lot emotionally to process, and we don't also talk about that part, like having financial anxiety, not knowing how you're gonna pay your bills next month, or let me talk about taxes, being afraid of that blue envelope when you see it come through the door. You know, so it's really having to like sit yourself down and be like, okay, cool, I here now. Let me process my feeling. Let me cry if I gotta cry. I gotta laugh if I gotta laugh. But what's the next step?
I think that's a great note to end it, because I was going to ask you, how do we get our financial ish together? 2024. Like, based on what we spoke about today. I mean, we spoke about quite a bit, but just to kind of sum it up and give somebody just a very straightforward, okay, you should do this and this. It's all subjective. So of course it's not concrete of like for each person it will be different. But what would you say is the best ways for us to really approach our finances in 2024 onwards.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, don't we only focus on
Nah,
2024.
nah,
It got to be
nah.
beyond.
But we got to build a foundation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say the foundation starts with, again, like I said earlier, awareness. After you get awareness, then you set your goals, right? You make them smart, you make them realistic, actionable, all the letters on the smart.
Yeah.
And then the third thing, again, is your budget. You really look at it and be like, is my budget realistic for what I want to accomplish, you know?
Yeah.
Then you go towards your debts. Who I owe? How much I owe? How much I got to pay back? How long it going to take me to pay back? And incorporate that as well into your budget, you know, like creating your plan for yourself if you have debts. If you don't have debts, you got all this extra money. How you going to make your money grow? You know? We don't think enough about retirement because we okay thinking that young right now. I ain't going to think about that.
We're going to reach that bridge later.
Yeah, no. The time to start is now.
Yeah.
Don't sit down and wait on a pension because the pension funds are okay spending all your money like they are cartels.
Yup.
Yeah,
It's facts though.
cartels.
Okay.
You know, so I would say those are the steps, and then again, keep readjusting your plans, keep readjusting your budget according to your life, because things just change. Today you could have a job, tomorrow you don't have one, and you don't always need a goal in order to save. Just save.
Yeah.
You know, just automate your savings and be like, every month when my paycheck come on, whether it is a 27, 28 or whatever time, the first thing, that money come on, send some money to your savings account. You don't even need to think about it. And if you want to create a plan, say you want to go on vacations, create a separate savings for that. But always have that backup money, because in finance we say cash is king and no lie. Because if you don't got money, crap or smoke your pipe.
Yeah. What you and these saying? We will crop them off and then make a compilation.
I little
your pipe.
one. So yeah, crap or
man.
smoke your pipe.
We love it.
Seriously. So crapper. Smoke your
this?
pipe. I don't know who
Who's
crapper
crapper?
is.
Okay.
Somebody
Man
uncle
down the road.
Maybe somebody uncle me no.
Okay, so
you know those sayings? Oh.
in the comments, let us know if you know them sayings too.
You could put that in your pipe and smoke
Yeah,
it.
put on your pipe. That one I
next
know for
one.
sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so AGBD to make it easier for people.
Yes.
Awareness, goals,
Okay.
budgeting, debt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Those
guys.
guys
Investing
also
at the
come.
eye.
Add that I.
Yes, and also
Invest.
think about your personality when it
ATDI.
comes to money. You know, it ain't only about the tool. The tools gonna be there. They're gonna tell you put your money here, but your behavior gonna be like, me ain't putting that money nowhere. I'm gonna take that money and I'm gonna go spend it on whatever I feel like. So assess yourself. Who are
Really
you when
assess.
it comes down to your money personality and how that contributes then to your life? If it, you know, adding to
Yeah.
it, are you making your life more stressful? So I would say I will end it with that.
We're going to end it by saying this was lovely.
It
I feel like I
was.
learned. I hope everybody learned.
I learned too, so that's a good part.
Really, yeah.
It was a fruitful conversation.
It was. It making me feel like we really do need to start like some kind of group chat.
Yo,
Or like
I
a
know.
group.
I
for
want to
people to be
reassess right
having
now.
these
Like, I want to go make a new
conversations.
budget.
Yeah, but for people who are really open and honest and ready to have these conversations with each other. This
I
is
think
what
we
make
should
me-
definitely do that.
We should.
And
Because I
as,
feel like
people of color especially, we need to
Yeah.
normalize talking about money
Yeah.
and feeling comfortable. Choose your people. It don't have to
Yeah.
be everybody, but have those conversations, because that's the only way we're going to be able to thrive in this world and empower each other.
Yep.
And I feel like we really need to just root for each other in
Yeah.
the sense of like, even if we build our, when we build our community, just have these little hacks and tips that you do in your life that you know adds value, that can add value to somebody else. Like the other day I was in Albertine and I went with a friend, and this is a tip for people. I have the Albertine app. I pay for that yearly subscription. It's 12 euros. It's not so crazy, but what I save is much more than that 12 euros.
Yeah.
Because you get stuff like a bonus box and you could choose your own things, but they do it based off of your shopping habits. So even little stuff like that could help us
Exactly.
make them little incremental savings that will add up to so much in the
And
future.
nothing shameful about taking a how you say courting. Me, I don't buy nothing full price. I just shop on Zalando Lounge.
Take
For
court.
who
I
you know
learned from
about
my
it.
father.
You understand?
Yes.
Everything.
that price.
It don't, not because you buy a pants, it gotta be Levi's, it gotta be 80 euro. No, sir, Levi's I got sale. You understand? People they say pull up the jean pants for 15
if your
euros.
friend got a student
Exactly.
account user,
Nothing wrong with I don't believe in second-hand clothes, but you have some people who do.
Yo,
you know,
vintage.
go where your money can stretch. You know, you don't need to feel ashamed
Your
about
cloth.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, bye.
Cut your cloth,
cloth.
according
And
no, cut your coat according to your
According to your
cloth.
class.
According to your
Uh-huh.
That's the line That's the name of the episode.
According to your
That is the name of the episode.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And on that note, thank you so much, Angelique.
Thank y'all as well for having me. I really appreciate it.
I feel like this was, we've had informational episodes, but I feel like this one really was a very informational episode. And I think it's on such a relevant topic because I feel like we all in our own struggle where it comes to finance. And yeah, I just hope everybody able to take, even us, something home that going to just boost our
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. So again, I'll talk to that camera.
Yeah.
If y'all looking for me, check me out on Instagram on the Financialish. Just shoot me a message. The content is old, but that don't matter. I still there. Check out my website as well.
We can put all the links in the description.
Yeah.
How you find it was?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm talking to, my cousins on the couch.
we love that.
Yes.
That's the vibe we just try to promote.
Yeah.
So very relaxed.
Thank you for coming. Well, this was it, guys.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, let us know what you talk about the episode.
Yeah, please.
And we'll see you bi-weekly on
Don't
Tuesdays.
forget to like, comment,
And we out.
Bye.
Bye.